Everyone is yelling at you to learn AI, but nobody is telling you which AI skill is going to pay your bills by the end of the month. And which skill you pick is everything, because you make your money by choosing a single skill and diving completely into it, not by experimenting with a bit of everything. So in this video, I'm going to cover the 7 highest paid AI skills in 2026. And for every single one of them, I'll show you a free way to get started and learn everything you need to know. So let's start with the one that sounds like science fiction, but is one of the fastest growing and most demanding in tech right now. This is agentic AI. It's everything about building AI agents. Instead of an AI chat that everyone knows is created to just answer your questions, you build agents that do a whole multi-step task that can solve a big tech problem on its own. It plans the steps, decides what to do at each one, uses tools like searching the web or running another program, checks its own work, and keeps going until the job is done, without anyone stepping in and fixing it at every step. That's a lot harder than just building a chatbot, because the second an AI is making its own decisions and taking real actions, you've got to make it reliable. And right now, there aren't a lot of people that can do that. That's exactly why demand for it has jumped close to 300% in a single year, the fastest of anything on this list, and agentic AI engineers pull between $153,000 and $248,000, with the best already past $300,000. This one's only for you if you like building things that actually run on their own, not just things that answer basic questions. If you're the type who loves taking a messy, multi-step problem and turning it into a system that handles itself, and you genuinely enjoy the hard part of making it reliable, then this is exactly your kind of work. These are the builders who'd rather create something that goes and gets the job done than sit there prompting a chatbot. And the way to get into it is by starting with the Hugging Face Agents course. From there, you'll learn to build an AI agent that takes a real day-to-day task, breaks it into steps, calls an outside tool, and runs until the job's done, using something like LangGraph or Crew AI to connect the steps. You learn to build something that can run an entire task from start to finish on its own, which is the thing every company is begging for right now. So the next AI skill is almost completely the opposite, and it's one of the most requested AI skills there is. And that skill is natural language processing. And the good thing is that you're probably already using something built on it pretty much every day. NLP, short for natural language processing, is the skill of getting computers to work with human language, the words you type and say, instead of rows of numbers. Every chatbot and every search bar that gets what you meant from a messy question, every tool that reads a 1,000-page contract and pulls out the one clause you need, that's NLP underneath. What you're actually learning is how to turn language into something a model can work with, then build things on top of it like systems that sort text on their own, pull out names and dates automatically, or find an answer by what it means instead of the exact words. NLP shows up in nearly 1 in 5 AI job listings, which is why it pays around $170,000 on average, and principal-level people hit $250,000. This one's for you if you're into language, and you'd rather teach a machine to understand people than understand pixels. And you can learn NLP in the Hugging Face NLP course. It's genuinely good, and it all comes together the first time you build a small model that reads a piece of text and tells you what it's about. And that's the skill behind almost everything that ever made you feel like the AI actually understood you. But the next one is the complete opposite. Instead of teaching a machine to read, you teach it to see. And you probably used this one before you were even out of bed. It's what unlocked your phone the moment you looked at it, and that skill is computer vision. And it's everything about getting a computer to actually understand what's in an image or a video and not just store it. It's what lets a self-driving car actually read the road the way you do. In real time, it has to tell a real stop sign from a billboard with one printed on it. It needs to know the difference between a person stepping off the curb and a shadow moving across the street, spot a cyclist coming up beside it, and judge how fast everything around it is moving. And it has to nail every one of those calls instantly, or it causes a crash. The job is all about training models to find and label every object in a frame, separate the foreground from the background pixel by pixel, and track how something moves across a video, because it runs cars, hospitals, and factories all at once. Senior computer vision engineers make around $167,000 to $271,000, and the top people in self-driving go well past that. This one's for you if you'd rather watch your AI actually do something on your screen, spotting and labeling what's in a photo or a video, instead of just staring at numbers. And fast.ai's practical deep learning for coders is your quickest way in. And you start with building an object detector. So you grab a labeled dataset off a site like RoboFlow and train a model to box whatever you point it at. And the first time you point it at something and watch it draw a box around it on its own, you're looking at the same skill that runs inside a self-driving car, just smaller, and that's a real 6-figure skill. but building the model is only half the job. The part that puts it to work is a skill almost nobody bothers to learn. So the next one sounds like the most boring skill on the list, but without it, the most expensive AI model a company ever built makes them $0. Because on its own, a trained model is just a file that spits out an answer when an engineer runs it by hand, which earns a business basically nothing. That's why MLOps turns that file into a live service and a real product. It's what runs the fraud check your bank does the instant you tap your card, and what lines up the next video on YouTube the second the last one ends. If you decide to dive into this skill, you're the one making all of that happen. You deploy the model, keep it from breaking without anyone noticing, catch it when its predictions start drifting worse over time, and push updates without ever taking the whole system down. That's the whole reason this skill pays around $165,000 on average. Senior people who can run it at scale sit between $175,000 and $220,000, and the skill alone adds a 15 to 30% premium on top of a normal engineering salary. This one's for you. If you're the practical type who'd rather build something that works for real users than something that just looks good in a demo. And that's a powerful spot to be in, because while everyone else chases the flashy AI, you're the one who makes it ship, which means a company can't make a single dollar off its AI without you. It's also easier to pick up than half the list. It's the same few tools every single time, and the free MLOps Zoom camp from Data Talks takes you through every one of them from scratch. So this is the skill nobody brags about that quietly decides whether a model ever reaches real people, and it pays 6 figures for exactly that reason. But the next one's for a completely different kind of person, the type who'd rather break a system than build one. And a lot of companies need that exact kind of person right now, because just one clever message can get their whole AI model to leak private customer data or say something that drags them into court. The skill that we're going to talk about is AI security and governance, and it really splits into 2 jobs. On the security side, you're the one who attacks and defends AI systems, finding how someone could trick a model into leaking private data or following a hidden malicious instruction, then closing those gaps before a real attacker finds them. On the governance side, you're the one making sure a company's AI follows the law and its own rules, which matters more every month as regulations like the European Union AI Act kick in. And the European AI Act is basically the world's first real law for AI. It sorts every AI system by how risky it is and puts strict rules on the dangerous ones, and the fines for getting it wrong are massive, up to 35 million euros, or 7% of a company's entire global revenue. This is one of the fastest growing corners of the whole field. Governance demand alone is up about 30% in a year, and the pay shows it. AI security engineers run around $152,000. Lead security architects hit $200,000 to $319,000, and senior governance roles average well over $250,000. The governance side barely touches math or code. So the real skill here is understanding how AI can get a company into trouble, making biased decisions, crossing a new regulation, or making a call it can't explain, then writing the rules that stop it before it happens. This one's for one of 2 types of people. Either you love finding the holes nobody else spots, the kind who looks at any system and instantly wonders how you'd break in, or you're the opposite, the organized type who likes rules and risk and would rather stop a disaster before it happens than clean one up after. Companies are desperate for both right now, because a single slip here can cost millions and wreck their reputation overnight. And this is one of the faster ones to break into. The OWASP Top 10 for large language models is exactly what it sounds like. A short list of the 10 main ways AI gets attacked, so you read through it, then practice spotting those same weaknesses on a test app. And that's basically the job already. If you want a credential to go with it, the IAPPAIGP is the recognized one for governance. That's what it pays to be the person who keeps a company's AI from turning into its biggest legal and security problem when almost no one else can. But the next skill is the most technical one on the whole list, because this is the skill that actually builds the AI itself. All of it was built using this exact skill named deep learning, also named machine learning engineering, and it's the real core of modern AI, responsible for building and training the neural networks that power generative AI, computer vision, and everything else on this list. When you fine-tune a language model or train a model to recognize images, you're doing deep learning, which is why it shows up in about 28% of all AI engineering job posts. The work involves designing these networks, training them on large amounts of data across many GPUs, and getting them to learn the underlying patterns rather than just memorize examples. That depth is why senior deep learning engineers make around $180,000 to $213,000. This one's for you if you want to understand AI all the way down and build the models everyone else just uses. And don't let how technical it sounds put you off. The way in is one single course, Andrew Ng's deep learning specialization, the one almost every great AI engineer came up through. You just follow it start to finish, then lock it in by rebuilding a known model from scratch in PyTorch until you get why every piece is there. When you get good with this skill, you're not just using AI anymore. You're building the actual thing, which is why it pays more than almost any other job in AI. Which brings us to the one everyone is actually racing for right now, the most in-demand skill of 2026. And this last one is what most of you came here for without you even knowing. It's generative AI, and right now it really comes down to the two skills companies are literally throwing money at: fine-tuning large language models and building RAG. Fine-tuning means taking a large model like GPT, Claude, or an open one like Llama, and training it further on a company's own data so it stops being generic and becomes an expert in its business. RAG, Retrieval Augmented Generation, is the other half. It's how you connect a model to a company's own documents so it answers from their real information instead of making things up. Almost every serious company wants one or both, which is why it's the most sought after AI specialization right now. And this skill carries a real premium, around 15 to 30% above a normal AI salary. LLM fine-tuning specialists make around $195,000 to $250,000. At the principal level, it runs from $250,000 past $350,000. And senior Gen AI engineer make around $220,000 to $280,000. And prompt engineering, the thing everyone hyped 2 years ago, didn't die. It just folded into this, one piece of doing the job well instead of a job by itself. This one's for you if you want to be right at the center of where the money and the hype are moving fastest. And it's more approachable than the hype makes it look. You start with deeplearning.ai's course called Generative AI with Large Language Models. Then you put it into practice by building a real app that answers questions over your own documents using LangChain and a vector database. So those are the 7 highest paid AI skills in 2026. So that's all 7. They all pay 6 figures, they're all free to start. So you've picked your skill, and the only thing that matters now is actually getting started. And the easiest free place to begin, with Google's name behind it, is with the 7 AI courses I break down in this video. So go click it now. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.